What up, it's Casper. Today's video, we're gonna be looking at the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon TV series. I only got to the first episode, so let's get straight to it. It's like a follow-up from the original Walking Dead, but it's not like it has anything to do of the original. It just has the name and is bringing Daryl from the original Walking Dead series, but doesn't really go along with too much of how the Walking Dead ended. I got recommended this episode by my brother Frotizzle Reviews. He said that there's actually two shows. The other one was with Daryl Dixon, and the other one is with Maggie and Negan. There was a choice for me to watch, and I ended up watching the Daryl Dixon one, and it was highly recommended because of the cinematography. It was shot in France, so you're gonna see a lot of dope scenery shots. Seeing Daryl's side was more of like an actor's side of the TV show, so you saw more of the acting side, but there still was that Walking Dead feel. After that watch, absolutely loved it. I thought the flow was cool, the cinematography was great, story for Daryl felt really fresh. The show did feel like it had a new life. My second watch was more to like just soak in more of anything that I missed from my first watch. First season, there's a total, I think, 6 episodes. Come out with new episodes every week. I've only got to the first episode, so I'm gonna break it down on what I thought from the first episode. This TV series started in 2023, so it's brand new, fresh. The first episode is called Perdue. This episode is an hour long, directed by Daniel Percival. So the introduction, we see how Daryl is on a boat getting washed up onto a beach. You don't see how he ended up there. That's just how the episode started. So we're seeing how Daryl arrives to France through him traveling and adventuring. You see so many other events. The original OG feel of the zombies get presented. You see Daryl ended up meeting with a mini village slash temple church looking place with a whole bunch of nuns. Ends up meeting a young boy in that area with the nuns. These chain of events end up making Daryl have to like grow this boy. That's the overall plot to the first episode. The beginning scene was really dope. Great placement of the cameras. It looks like we're diving into a story right away. Walking Dead, it's always had cool scenery shots, so I appreciated that even in the beginning, the scenery shots were amazing. And it gave you that feel that you wish you were on set. The whole environment looked good with the camera direction. I like the detail of him looking for water, just trying to find anything in his environment to keep himself hydrated. Presenting the zombies for the first time, I thought that was really like a creepy feel. Felt like you're reading a book. The hovering of the camera, surprised us with out of nowhere where these zombies are waking up from, I guess, a little nap. Very cool to see that with this TV show, they introduced a new zombie. So in this one right here, it looks like boils your skin. These zombies in here are called burners. Anytime zombies were presented in this TV show, I thought the swagger was super dope. They're very detailed with the movements and they were trying to show certain things. There's a scene where Daryl is like stabbing like a spear through the table and ends up connecting with one of the other zombies and it gets stuck. I thought that showed some real life feel into this episode, so that was really cool detail. A lot of different perspective. When Daryl got his arm burning a little bit, I thought, I was like, yo, is this gonna affect him? Is this gonna make him turn to a zombie? But later we find out with character introduction that it doesn't affect him unless he doesn't get it treated. It'll kill him. While we're on this adventure, the camera direction is capturing great scenery shots, cool shots of seeing other characters looking from far away. End up seeing like Daryl meeting these two characters look like they're lost but end up doing Daryl very dirty. So that was a crazy killing scene. I thought the sound for the killing scenes and this episode were very emphasized. Killing scenes were insane. Very good. The acting was great. And shout out to the people who were speaking in like the French language. Their acting was very good as well. It was a wild scene right there. So I thought the nuns weren't something that was a bother. I thought the presentation was well done. They were cool. At times they were dope because they lived on their own land. They end up growing their own food. You see how they have an established lifestyle. Through all that, you see it with the camera direction. They have a crazy weapon safe. I thought that was insane. The setup looked dope. It looked like a video game. It was a good flow on introducing everything. I think it wasn't all rushed. I felt like nothing was forced. This episode had very good timing, showing a lot of things when it needed to be shown. While presenting all the scenery shots and seeing all the nuns, they also have a little boy who lives there. Seems like all the nuns are just trying to protect him from the outside world. Good lines on explaining why the boy is there. The kid's acting in this episode was actually pretty good. You saw the growth. You could see that he was copying Daryl because he was very intrigued and interested to see that this dude was from the outside gates. Cool to see the interaction. It wasn't something, like I said, that came out of nowhere. It was cool that they floated that into like a very good pacing, and that we see the boy actually wanted to be friends with Daryl. Showed very cool gestures by bringing the Rubik's Cube and showing that he has skills with the Rubik's Cube. Thought that was like a little sweet moment as well. There's an army sergeant dude in here who's actually very vicious. The look looks insane. His progression becomes more vicious because his brother is part of that army crew, and actually his brother got killed earlier in that episode. So now the fact that this army sergeant dude is actually looking for who killed his, he's basically following the same tracks Daryl is, and we're seeing that this dude is on a mission now. That whole flow seemed like a whole Call of Duty episode mission. Like, you're seeing this villain get super mad because he saw his brother get killed, where he ends up killing that old dude. That was insane. So sorry for the spoilers who haven't seen it, but vicious. Sons want Daryl to lead the little boy, really handle all these situations that he's dealing with, and basically guiding him to lead the revival of humanity. Very crazy how the nuns want to put this on Daryl, but they think he's the chosen one. The pressure on Daryl's face, you could see it. And then you see also that Daryl was like back and forth on like believing what the nuns were saying. The progression was out of nowhere to that, but the character acting and all that was great, so it wasn't like really forced. Later in the episode, you see how Daryl's back and forth, but after that he's more leaning on his he's gonna do it side, because he ends up seeing some crazy turn of events that makes him actually want to actually lean towards doing that. This episode ends up adding more dopeness to the nuns, because out of nowhere we see that these nuns are very smart on responding to the crazy sergeant dude. And then after that we see how smart they are on how they have this whole castle home set up for if just in case anything happened. They were not hesitant to prepare themselves and get into battle actions. And also, I forgot to mention, at this church with the nuns, or this little castle, they also have a zombie there. He was a pastor before he became a zombie, and they're trying to, with their beliefs, think that he can become like born again. But very weird with that. Very crazy. Towards the end, we see a crazy battle scenes between the nuns and the army people that came into the temple. Shot amazing. There was a lot of blood shown. There were zombies in there that ended up showing up. That was crazy. And then the last scene and the lines that involved with Daryl, I thought that it was straight drama. Great for actors to show their skills. You see that this whole adventure with Daryl is just going to start adding up, get better, and it's just going to continue and continue, because Daryl doesn't even know what he's getting into. He's just trying to find his way home. And seeing all that emotions in his face, I thought that was absolutely crazy, and the acting was amazing. It doesn't seem boring when the camera's following the characters, and this episode showed amazing scenery shots. You just see that Daryl's more committed to this adventure. And the way the episode ends, I would say the backtracking shot with the little boy playing the guitar and they're just there chilling at the campfire. Good way to end the episode, because there was just a crazy storm, and this felt like the calm after the storm. You're still gonna follow along with this adventure because it's still gonna continue. All around great feel to this Daryl side of The Walking Dead. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was cool. At times they're stepping it up. Good flow and introducing a lot of stuff into this episode that I didn't expect that we were gonna see. So the story was really dope. Later in the episode, we see like a boat scene as well. I guess that's how Daryl left that ship that he was on. So now we're seeing more about it. That was interesting. But I only got to the first episode, and overall I thought it was great. It being an hour, I think it was well done. So after my watching the first episode of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, out of 10 I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10. So that's my review for the first episode of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.